Eli Townsend never wanted much. After decades spent working as a high-level security consultant, designing surveillance grids for banks and managing threat response plans for government contractors, he was finally ready to retire. No beachfront condos or fancy gated estates for him. What Eli wanted was land space to breathe, somewhere quiet just outside the bustle, with enough sky above and grass below to remind him that he was free. He found it outside Gainesville, Florida, a modest single-story home, built in the 80s, with the kind of character modern homes can't replicate: a sun-faded tile roof, creaky floorboards, and that rich scent of baked stone that lingered in the air long after sunset. But the jewel was the backyard, a half-acre bordered by a tangled grove of oaks, with just enough slope for a custom pool he designed himself. Not some blue plastic cookie cutter, but a free-form oasis limestone perimeter, ambient lighting, a shallow bench where he could sit at dusk, sipping rye while blues hummed from an old speaker. And best of all, no fence. Florida code didn't require one with the right security measures, and Eli had more than enough. Motion sensors, infrared cameras, directional mics. He didn't just build a backyard. He fortified a sanctuary. That sanctuary shattered the day she showed up. She called herself Veronica Payne, lived catty-corner across the block, introduced herself through a pair of binoculars and a clipboard, shouting across the fence line that his pool wasn't decent. Her voice had that syrupy righteousness, the kind you'd hear from a PDA president who turned book bans into personality. There are children in this neighborhood, sir. Families. We uphold standards. Eli, submerged to the waist, drink in hand, simply said, "Ma'am, this is my backyard, and it's visible from mine." She snapped. She filed her first complaint 2 days later, alleging indecent exposure. Eli was shirtless, in swim trunks, in a private pool. The city sent a notice of review. It was absurd, and Eli knew it. But absurdity has a way of snowballing. 3 days later, he was shot, not lethally, rock salt, from a shotgun. The shot tore across his shoulder as he cleaned the pool filter. It stung, burned, and bled just enough to shock the senses. He dropped, military reflexes still intact. When the cops arrived, they knocked on Veronica's door. She acted surprised, feigned ignorance, denied firing anything, though she admitted to owning a shotgun for protection. No warrant, no arrest, just a suggestion: file a report. Eli didn't panic. He prepared, reinforced the cameras, logged the injury, emailed his lawyer, and then, as if on cue, the campaign began. Signs appeared overnight, pastel placards staked near his curb: respect community standards, protect our youth. Noise followed. Leaf blowers at dawn, wind chimes that rang endlessly in windless weather, a high-pitched ultrasonic device hidden in a fake vine along her gutter, whining just below conscious hearing. When a fence crew showed up at Veronica's property and started erecting a gleaming white barrier, Eli assumed she was buying privacy. Fine. But the angle was off, creeping onto his land. He surveyed it himself, 2 feet into his yard. He marked it. The next day, his flags were gone, the posts driven deeper. Veronica smiled when he confronted her. "I had it professionally installed." "It's wrong," Eli said. He had proof. "Then file your little complaint." She sneered. "This isn't about property lines. It's about decency." Eli didn't argue. He built a case. Hired a private investigator named Monica, former cybercrime analyst who mapped harassment like others mapped terrain. Monica confirmed everything: illegal surveillance, noise harassment, planted sensors. More disturbing were the complaints, all traced to Veronica's IP address, submitted under fake names to every city department imaginable. Then it escalated. A rock through his window, a target board nailed to his shed peppered with bullet holes. Messages like "community zone," "no private use," spray-painted on barricades dragged across his driveway in the dead of night. His sprinkler control panel sabotaged. A neighbor's landscaper quit after being told he was trespassing on a protected observation corridor. It was psychological warfare. Eli filed for a protective injunction. Monica's report 200 pages of timestamps, footage, and IP logs was damning. Veronica knew. You could see it in her stillness as she watched his house from behind her hedges. The smug performative concern had vanished. She wasn't pretending anymore. And yet, the city still moved slowly. So Eli sent a message of his own. He waited until 3 a.m. and dismantled the 12-foot section of her illegal fence that crossed his line. He didn't break it. He removed it with care screws out. Concrete bases lifted. He stacked it neatly on her easement. Taped a note to it. This was mine. I'm returning it. On top, he pinned the target bore the one she'd posted with a copy of the clean inspection report stapled through the bullseye. By sunrise, half the neighborhood had seen it. She came out, read the note, locked eyes with Eli across the yard, and said nothing. Days later, they were in court. Her lawyer tried to reframe the story, claimed Eli was the provocateur, a threat to modesty and environmental safety. But the evidence spoke louder. The judge ruled in Eli's favor. Permanent injunction. Veronica was fined, ordered to dismantle the rest of her fence, and banned from any further contact. Her firearm license was suspended pending psychological review. Veronica retreated. Her house grew silent. Lawn uncut. Trash left out. Curtains closed. Rumors spread that she'd listed the property. Eli didn't celebrate. He got to work. Repaired the garden. Turned the old fencing panels into raised beds for tomatoes and climbing jasmine. What once was a line of conflict became a source of life. A month later, he received a final letter. Veronica had sold the house. No apology. Just bureaucracy. The new neighbors were kind. A couple. Both teachers. They brought cookies. Asked about electrical recommendations. And offered help with a pergola. Eli showed them the property line. They thanked him. That night, Eli swam alone. The lights shimmered in the pool. The air was calm. No threats. No watchers. Just water. Stars. And a man who fought not for revenge but for peace. And this time, it was his to keep.